Hi students, I am Dr. Bhavana. In this lecture we are going to deal about structural organization in animals. In this part of structural organization in animals, first we should deal with numerous tissues as well as cells. What are these role of these tissues? These tissues will play a very important role in covering all the organs. Suppose our organs, they are not directly exposed. They should be covered by some tissues. Numerous tissues will constitute an organ. Like that, numerous cells also constitute a tissue. So suppose, first when we come to cells, in unicellular organisms, only single cell will be there. Unicellular means single cell. By name only we can understand. Single cell. Only the single cell will perform numerous functions like digestion, respiration, absorption. Only single cell. Very lower organisms. In these lower organisms, they are called as unicellular organisms. Means only one cell. Suppose amoeba or euglena, they will have only one cell that is present. So that cell only will perform all the functions like digestion, absorption and all. When it comes to multicellular organisms, multicellular, by name only we can understand that there are numerous cells which are present. Numerous cells will be present, multicellular organisms. When numerous cells are present, one cell will perform one function. One will perform digestion, one will perform absorption, one cell will perform respiration. Like the numerous multicellular organisms. Suppose our human beings, we are called as multicellular organisms. When it comes to hydras also they are called as multicellular organisms because numerous cells will be present as well as they help in functions of our body. Next, so these are called as unicellular. Next, these are called as multicellular organisms. When it comes to numerous cells, these all constitute a tissue. Numerous cells will constitute a tissue. Numerous tissues, when they combine, they constitute a organ. This flow chart is important because numerous times in NEET it is asked. What all the cells will come and form as a tissue. Then all the tissues will form organ. Next, all the organs, they combine to form organ system. Organ system. Finally, they will function on their own. Suppose numerous cells, these will form a tissue, right? What is the use of this tissue? These tissues, they will cover the organs, they will protect the organs. Numerous cells will combine to form a tissue. These all what is the uses? They will protect the organs. Outside of the organs, something they should be protected. They can't be directly exposed to all the body fluids, right? So these tissues only play a very important role. Next, all these tissues will combine to form one organ. Suppose kidney. Kidney is contributed by numerous tissues. Next, when it comes to lungs, it is also contributed by numerous tissues. Like that, it will form organ. Now, numerous organs, they all form an organ system. Like lungs will perform respiration. Next, when it comes to digestion, it is performed by the stomach. Kidneys, they perform excretion. Like this, these all will perform one or two organs, they will combine. This will take this action, next one will take other action. Like that, they will think and they all will constitute one organ system. So this is the flow chart that is to be followed. So what we have discussed till now, in structural organization in animals, there are mainly unicellular organisms as well as multicellular organisms. Unicellular means they are performed by a single cell. When it comes to multicellular organisms, they are performed by numerous cells. They perform multicellular. When all these cells combine, they form a tissue. When all the tissues combine, they form organs. When all the organs are combined, they perform together an action that is called as organ system. So cells, tissues, organs, next organ system. Finally, these all will constitute for the functioning of our all different organs. So this is about the first part. Next we will deal in this chapter mostly about the tissues. What are the different types of tissues which are present? First you all note down this. Next I will tell you what are the different tissues which are present. So when it comes to tissues which are present, what are the main tissues which are present? There are 4 types of tissues which are present. First one is epithelial tissue. Second one is connective tissue. Third is muscular tissue. Fourth one is neural tissue. 4 types of tissues, very important in neat aspect. What are the 4 tissues which are present? That is epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue as well as neural tissue. Now we are going to deal in detail about the epithelial, connective, muscular as well as neural tissues. First we will deal with epithelial tissue. So what is the main epithelial tissue? What is first of all epithelial tissue? Epithelial tissue means whatever which covers our skin, epithelium, outside layer, anything that is outside, that is called as epithelium. Epithelium means what first? Outside which it covers. Outside what it is outside exposed to the environment, inside it is exposed to body fluids. Numerous outside to the environment our skin will get exposed, right? Next, deep into the cells, body fluids, numerous body fluids it is exposed. So both it should get balanced, this epithelial tissue. So it covers as a main protective layer that is present is called as epithelial tissue. Epithelium, by name only, epithelium means outside to the environment, inside to the body fluids. So in this epithelium mainly, there are 2 types of epithelium which are present. First one is simple epithelium. These flowcharts which now I given, that is very easy for you to write down. So that if you write down now, it will be very easy for you for neat, quick revision. Whatever the flowcharts I give, that is very important. Simple epithelium, next compound epithelium. So in the simple epithelium which is present mainly, there is only one layer which is present. That is numerous ducts, our glands, everything they constitute simple epithelium itself. When it comes to compound epithelium, numerous layers will be present. Simple epithelium means only one single layer is present. Simple epithelium. This is simple epithelium which is present. When it comes to compound epithelium, numerous layers will be present. 1 or 2 or 3 layers. What is the examples of this simple and compound epithelium? Simple epithelium, main example which we give is numerous ducts as well as numerous glands. Everything are lined by this simple epithelium itself. When it comes to compound epithelium, in this compound epithelium what is present is mainly numerous layers are present, numerous layers, and they are covered by nucleus. Numerous layers are present. Our skin only is compound epithelium, because if you get some infectious diseases or some environment, all the organisms will not enter our body, because the skin is 2 to 3 layered. So many layers it is present. So what will happen for that? No, all the infectious organisms which enter our body, they are not entering to skin. Only if there is some cut or wound if you get, then only they will enter, or else they will not enter. Numerous layers will be present. So this skin serve as a protective barrier for entry of numerous diseases which enter. They serve as a barrier. So this is a compound epithelium. Example is nothing but mainly skin. So till now what we have discussed is epithelium. Epithelium is mainly outside, it is by environment, it is exposed to environment. Inside to the body fluids, numerous. By epithelial is the Greek Latin word, so it is nothing but numerous layers are present. If one layer only is present, it is called as simple epithelium. If numerous layers are present, it is called as compound epithelium. In the simple epithelium, ducts as well as glands, these all constitute simple epithelium. When it comes to compound epithelium, our skin, which serves as a protective barrier, this is nothing but numerous 2 to 3 layers that constitutes the compound epithelium. Again, this simple epithelium is further divided into 3 types. That is called as squamous epithelium, next cuboidal epithelium, third one is columnar epithelium. Compound epithelium, there is no division only for compound epithelium. But for simple epithelium, there is division like squamous epithelium, cuboidal, columnar as well as glandular epithelium. The fourth one is glandular epithelium. So we will discuss in detail about this. If you write down, it will be easy for you. So in detail we will discuss about this squamous epithelium. First one I have told you is squamous. Squamous, simple epithelium means just now what I have said you, only one layer is present, only one layer. So for these all, now whatever I am saying, for everything only one layer is present. Suppose like this. This is squamous epithelium. Means they all are in this way. Like they are in the squamous shape. Like this shape they will be there. So they are. This is called as squamous epithelium. By shape only we should differentiate between all these types of epithelium. Next is cuboidal epithelium. Cuboidal. See, by name only we can understand here. Cubes. Numerous cube shaped cuboidal. See, like this cubes will be there. Numerous this. Because it is single layered, only single layer. Cuboidal epithelium. Next, when it comes to columnar epithelium, it will be like numerous columns which are present. All tall, slender cells. These constitutes the columnar epithelium. Mainly in this first year of zoology, this topic is very important because they will give you this diagram and they will tell you to identify the type of epithelium and to which epithelium it belongs. Numerous NEET questions are asked based on this one. Suppose this means cuboid shape. Like that you should understand it comes under simple epithelium because it is single layered, as well as numerous cuboidal shaped cells are present. Next, when it comes to columnar, numerous tall slender cells are present. This comes under columnar epithelium. Next is squamous epithelium. Squamous also it is the same thing. Numerous flattened cells are present. This constitutes the squamous epithelium. Next, so under this squamous epithelium, what are the organs which are lined by this epithelium? Squamous epithelium, mainly the air sacs of the lungs. Air sacs of lungs are covered by this squamous epithelium. See, we have discussed in the respiratory system chapter that what we have discussed, what is the type of the epithelium that is lined by the lungs. Then it is mainly lungs. So you should remember at least 1 or 2 examples for all these squamous epithelium. Mainly if anyone say that is for lungs, it is lined by, means you should say it is squamous epithelium. It is lined by squamous epithelium. When it comes to cuboidal type of epithelium, what are those which are lined by cuboidal epithelium is proximal convoluted tubule as well as numerous nephrons. Proximal convoluted tubule as well as numerous nephrons. Anything, simply remember, anything that is related to kidney, that will constitute cuboidal epithelium only. Anything that is related to kidney, that is PCT, means we have already discussed in excretion chapter. That is proximal convoluted tubule. When it comes to nephrons, nephrons are also structure, those are not neurons, they're nephrons. Means they're structural and functional units of kidney. So this is also proximal convoluted tubule as well as nephrons. Next, when it comes to columnar epithelium, in the columnar epithelium, what are the numerous examples which we see is intestine. Intestine, it is constituted by this columnar epithelium, intestine. So, squamous epithelium is air sacs of the lungs. Lungs, simply squamous epithelium. Cuboidal epithelium, this is constituted by all the structures that are related to kidney. If I say, then you should say it is cuboidal epithelium. Next, when it comes to columnar epithelium, it is nothing but intestine which comes under numerous cells of the intestine. They are lined by columnar epithelium itself. Lungs, kidneys cuboidal. Lungs, squamous epithelium, thin layer, all are one layer only, that you should not forget. Next, intestine, then it contributes to columnar epithelium. So this is about the three types of epithelium which are mainly present. Now next, when these cuboidal as well as these columnar cells, if they bear cilia on the surface, means numerous, see suppose this is cuboidal as well or columnar, anything, cuboidal or columnar. If they are lined by, if they are covered by cilia, cilia means a hair-like structures which are present. This is cuboidal, this is columnar. If they are covered by these cilia, then it is called as ciliated epithelium. Then it is called as ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium means nothing but the cuboidal or columnar cells, if they are lined by cilia, then it is called as ciliated epithelium. That's it. If they are lined by cilia, it is called as ciliated epithelium. Next, so this is about the cuboidal or columnar cells. What are the examples that are associated with this? Examples are fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes as well as trachea. All these are lined by the cilia only. They remove the dust particles which enter our body. Suppose this trachea, it will have numerous cilia which is present. Whatever the foreign particles which enter the lungs, before entering into the lungs, they get purified. So they will enter the lungs. So this is about the ciliated epithelium. What are the examples of ciliated epithelium? Means fallopian tubes as well as trachea that is present. Again, lungs, it is different. Lungs, I told you, air sacs of the lungs is that squamous epithelium which I have told you. When it comes to cuboidal or columnar cells, they are lined by cilia, means nothing but they have ciliated epithelium which is present. So examples are fallopian tubes as well as trachea is present. So this is about the cuboidal or columnar epithelium. If cuboidal or columnar epithelium are having cilia, ciliated epithelium, fallopian tubes, trachea. Next we are going to see about glandular epithelium that is present. Again, when you think about the glandular epithelium, when you think about it, in this glandular epithelium, if these cuboidal or columnar cells, again they are they help in secretion, means these cells, they help in secretion, numerous secretions are present. See, these cuboidal cells as well as tall columnar cells which are present, if they release numerous secretions, anything cuboidal or columnar, if they release numerous secretions, then what will happen is that contribute to this glandular epithelium. So in this glandular epithelium again, what are the examples which we see? In glandular epithelium means all our salivary glands, because salivary glands secrete saliva, that is a secretion, right? So these secretions are that epithelium which is lined by these is called as salivary glands. So salivary glands secrete numerous secretions. So it comes under glandular epithelium. It is lined by glandular epithelium. Example, salivary glands. Salivary glands, as we know, there are three types again, like parotid gland, submandibular gland, sublingual gland. Parotid, submandibular, as well as sublingual. In the parotid gland, where it is this parotid gland present? It is present behind the ear. Behind the ear, this parotid gland is present. They release numerous secretions. When it comes to sublingual gland, it is present under the tongue. It is present. Parotid, it is present behind the ear, whereas sublingual, it is present under the tongue. Submandibular, where it is present is, it is present in the lower jaw. In the lower jaw, the submandibular is present. Lower jaw. When it comes to sublingual, under tongue. When it comes to parotid gland, this is present behind the ear. So all these three glands, they release numerous secretions. That is, they release large amounts of saliva. What are these all three lined by? These three are lined by glandular epithelium. For you should simply remember, I am giving only 1 or 2 points because they won't ask much here. That's why I am giving 1 or 2 points about salivary glands as well as where is the location present. They will mostly ask about in NEET where they located. Sublingual is by name. Lingual means anything that is lingual means tongue. Okay. So sublingual is under the tongue. When it comes to parotid, it is behind the ear that is present. Next, when it comes to submandibular gland, it is present in the lower jaw. So this is about the glandular epithelium. Again, this glandular epithelium, based on numerous secretions which are present, it is divided into exocrine glands as well as endocrine glands. So what are these exocrine as well as endocrine glands? Endocrine glands first we will discuss. Endocrine glands, they lack ducts. The main point here you should remember is they lack ducts. As they lack ducts, numerous glands as they lack ducts, they are called as ductless glands, endocrine glands. These secretes numerous hormones, they will secrete, these endocrine glands. These hormones will go and act somewhere in our body. What are the mostly how our transportation takes place is transportation of nutrients. Everything will takes place through hormones only. All estrogen, progesterone, all are nothing but these endocrine glands only. These all will come under glandular epithelium only. Glandular epithelium is nothing but it is single layered epithelium, as well as it releases numerous secretions that are present. So that's why they are based on these secretions only. That's why they are divided into exocrine as well as endocrine glands. When it comes to endocrine glands, these lack ducts. So they are called as ductless glands. Next, exocrine glands, and these secrete numerous hormones. Endocrine, they secrete numerous hormones which are present. Next, when it comes to exocrine glands, what about these exocrine glands is, exocrine glands secrete numerous ear wax, oil, our sweat, sebum, everything will come under these exocrine glands only. Ear wax. See, for some skinned people, there will be more secretion of oil. This is all due to exocrine glands only. All these are lined by glandular epithelium. Ear wax, oil, sweat, as well as sebum which is present. All these are exocrine secretions. Only simply you should remember, only endocrine secretions are nothing but hormones. Hormones only endocrine secretion. Rest all are exocrine secretions only. Hormones like estrogen, progesterone, numerous we have discussed in chemical coordination and integration chapter. So if you have not seen that video, go and see that chemical coordination and integration about numerous glands, numerous hormones, how they act, extracellular receptors, intracellular receptors, everything we have discussed in that. So in these endocrine glands also that is present. So this is about the 4 types of epithelium that is present. So till now what we have discussed is first unicellular organisms. What are they? Unicellular organisms means nothing but they are only single cell will perform all the functions like digestion, absorption, everything is performed by a single cell. Then it is called as unicellular. When it comes to multicellular organisms, multicellular means numerous cells will be present. These numerous cells will secrete digestion, absorption, everything are performed by numerous cells. So that is multicellular. Our Hydra as well as we humans, we all are multicellular. So I have given a flow chart. All the cells will combine to form multicellular. When all these multi-cells, all the cells will combine, they form a tissue that is present. All these tissues will form organs. All these organs will form an organ system, like sequence. Cells, tissues, organs as well as organ systems. These 4. Next what we have seen about the first epithelium. Outside it is by environment, it is exposed to environment. Inner side to body fluids. First simple type of epithelium is all the inner body parts like ducts, glands, everything are lined by organs. These are always simple epithelium. Compound epithelium, only one example, skin. Because numerous layers are present. Only skin acts as a barrier to protect against numerous infectious diseases. So that is about that. Next, in the types of epithelium, we have seen in the simple epithelium types squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium, single layer of flattened cells. Simple. Example, lungs. Only air sacs of lungs. Next, when it comes to compound epithelium, squamous epithelium we have seen. Then next, which type of epithelium we have seen is cuboidal as well as columnar. Cuboidal is all cube-like cells will be present. All are single layered. Example of cuboidal epithelium is nothing but anything that is related to kidney, nephrons or proximal convoluted tubule, anything. Next, when it comes to columnar epithelium that is present. In the columnar epithelium, what is the numerous examples I have given is columnar is intestine. I have given intestine. Lungs, kidney, intestine. Fourth, we have seen when these cuboidal or columnar cells, if they bear cilia, they are called as ciliated epithelium. If they have numerous secretions, they are called as glandular epithelium. That's all. Numerous secretions means glandular, cilia means that ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium example is fallopian tubes as well as trachea. It removes all the foreign particles that enter our body. Next, when it comes to secretions that are present, this cuboidal or columnar release numerous secretions. Example is salivary gland. We have seen what are the 3 main types of salivary glands that are present in head and neck. Is the parotid gland, submandibular, sublingual. What is the location? Where is parotid gland present? Parotid is present behind the ear, submandibular in the lower jaw, sublingual under the tongue. Numerous NEET questions are, I am telling you what are the NEET questions which are asked. First they will ask about compound epithelium example. Next about each epithelium examples as well as structure you should remember. If you remember the structure, then you can easily answer the questions if they are asked based on the diagrams. Next, based on secretions, it is divided into exocrine, that is earwax, oil, sweat, sebum. All these are exocrine. When it comes to endocrine, these lack ducts, so they are called as ductless glands. Endocrine glands secrete hormones. Exocrine secrete earwax as well as oils, sweat, everything will come under that. Simply you should remember endocrine hormones. Rest all will come under exocrine. So these is the types of epithelium which are present. Today we have done about epithelial tissue which is present. Still what we are left over with is connective tissue, muscular tissue, neural tissue. That we will deal in the next class. We will end this topic by what are the junctions which are present. What are the junctions which are present is, there are three types of junctions which are present. That is called as, first one is tight junctions. Next, adhering junctions. Third one is gap junctions. That is, these are the three types of junctions which is present. Suppose in one cell, suppose this is a cell, numerous epithelium are present. So these are numerous types of cells present in an epithelium. How these are attached to each other? That is only what we are seeing about what are the different types of junctions which are present. In the tight junctions, what will happen is, suppose these are numerous cells which are present. In tight junctions, they are tightly adhered to each other. Tightly they are packed to each other. There is no space in between. By name only we can understand what these are tight junctions. There are no specific examples, but in your textbook how they have given is, what are simply tight junctions, adhering junctions, gap junctions. They will give you diagram and they will ask. Like suppose they will give you this and they will ask you, this is tight junction, you should say. That is, there is no gap in between the cells, as well as they are tightly adhered to one another. When you come to adhering junctions which adhere to each other, or cementing junctions we can say. Suppose this, see, these are adhered to each other by a cement-like substance. Cement substance, they are adhered to one another. These with no gap, simply cell to cell, they are adhered to each other. This is tight junctions. When it comes to adhering, they are adhered to one another by simple cementing substance that is present. So this is adhering junctions. When it comes to gap junctions that are present, so numerous gaps will be present in between the cells, but they will be attached to one another. Okay. So these are gap junctions. This diagram you can draw like this also. They are adhered to one another by simple adhering cementing substance. So this is adhering junction. Gap means there is always gap that is present. So how do you differentiate between these junctions is nothing but tight junctions, adhering junctions as well as gap junctions. Means nothing but how each cell is organized to one another. That only is three types of junctions which are present. How they will adhere to each other. In the first type, tight junctions, they adhere to each other tightly. They are closely packed to each other. There is no material that is present in between them. Tightly all the cells are bounded to each other. When it comes to adhering junction, they are adhered to one another by one cementing substance that is present. That's why they are adhered to one another. Next, when it comes to gap junctions, which are numerous gap junctions will be present. Gap, so that will come under tight, gap, adhering. Adhering is nothing but cementing. One cementing substance is present. So these are the different types of gap junctions which are present. So we have discussed today about the epithelium as well as the junctions which are present. In the next class we will deal about neural, muscular as well as connective tissue.